With Industria's agriculture becoming more and more complicated, and with major advancements in other fields expected in the not too distant future, we need a population that is educated to take advantage of the new technologies and the new opportunities. And to that end, it's time to build a schoolhouse. Educate the leaders, the inventors, etc. of future stages. The floor is made of the same wood parquet that was used in the inn, and I'm using cobblestone tiles for the baseboard. And yes, I did build an extension of the road to get to the front door of the schoolhouse. Now it's time to build the students' desks and chairs. This schoolhouse will have capacity for 9 students, as well as a teacher, who sits at the front of the classroom. And now it's time to build up the walls. I had initially considered using prismarine granite, but in the end I decided on granite bricks as opposed to a granite prismarine. Prismarine just didn't look right to me. Now here is our blackboard at the front of the classroom. The teacher, after all, has to write things down in order to educate the students, and he's going to need a place to do it. The interior of the classroom is well lit. No chance of any lessons being interrupted by creepers or zombies or the like. And now that I've gotten the schoolhouse room as high as I want it to go, it's time to start on the roof. And I'm not using any sort of overhang for the roof. I don't feel that it's appropriate for this building to have an overhang. And yes, I did have to return to the storehouse to grab additional materials. Here I'm using scaffolding now, as opposed to using cobblestone as scaffolding. I'm also laying down additional wood as a ceiling for the schoolhouse. It also serves as a base for the roof. I did have to go back to my wood farm to grab a little bit more wood. Now that I've got the ceiling sorted out, it's time to sort out the rest of the main roof. And here I'm dividing the roof into 2 sections. There's a back section that's going to be a not overly complicated roof, sloping up to a flat peak. But the front section is a bit more interesting architecturally. I'm actually building a clock tower in the front of the schoolhouse. And after building up a few meters, I opt to start placing the admittedly fairly large clock. And yes, I did have to change up the clock slightly. I realized I had made a slight mistake in the initial setup of the clock. But once I got that sorted out, the rest of the clock went in pretty easily. Although in retrospect, maybe I built that the clock's a little bit low, given the size. Now, the clock tower's roof will get a slight overhang, though the consequence will not be an overhang from the schoolhouse itself. I also opted to go with a sloped roof, flat peak for the top again. And that's the completed schoolhouse. And now it's time to build a simple little river. I've taken the liberty of building a small artificial lake in one corner of the currently built section of Upper Industriville. And now I am building a channel to carry the river down from the artificial lake to a natural lake. And yes, I did run back to the storehouse to grab my excavator. The excavator is a faster tool, definitely better suited to this job. And now that I have the channel leading down between the two lakes, it's time to let the water flow and start on the channel heading out from the natural lake towards the cliff edge and the northern edge of the city. And you can see I'm also building a place to stop the water for the time being. This isn't entirely where it's going to end up, but for now, that's the end of the Industriville River. Now that I've got the channel the rest of the way sorted out and lined with stone bricks, the water will soon be flowing, and there's the river. Well, the schoolhouse is done. The river is built. The farm fields have been populated. I managed to get the bell peppers and soybeans up to 10, 10, 10. So now we have this farm completely filled. We have all of the types of food crops we need. We've got the monstrously oversized inn. There is a part of me that's wondering if I didn't build that too big, because now going to the next stage, that's going to set the standard for the size of my civic structures. Speaking of the next stage, let's take a look at our project board. At this project board, rather, for the very last time. And let's actually start disassembling it, because I've managed to use all of the fields for food crops. So check on that. We have the river, we have the watermill, we have the food crops. We just need to dismantle this old project board. And I'm also going to go ahead and clean up the land just a little bit here. Alright, looks like I can do this, probably. Alright, yeah. Although it may be a little bit more than I'd wanted to actually take out. But still, with that done, the iron stage is finished. And the marquee metal for the next stage seems to be tin, of all things. But of course, it's not just about tin, is it? And I can also use the ferrous, this osmium, gold, and lead. And I also get the opportunity to use ender pearls, lapis lazuli, a few other different things, but most critically, redstone. And of course, redstone is going to open up a lot of options, which I will have to consider very carefully going into this next stage. But let me go ahead and put the redstone up here. Shift the ender pearl. And let's see, where should I put the lapis? This seems like... Yeah, let's see. I guess I'll put the lapis here for now. I may have another place to put it later, but yeah, that will have to do for the time being. Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what options I will have with the new tin-based options. But of course, now they're taking down the old project board, it's time to inaugurate the new project board. And you may have noticed that I've gone a little bit fancy with the floor. This is more or less permanent. It should last quite a bit longer than the other project board. It's got room for a lot more projects. Yeah. At any rate, it's time for me to give some consideration to what I'm going to be doing with redstone and tin and other related materials.